Well, it was a beautiful night for Perry Johnson in Saginaw during a gubernatorial debate. He seeks the Republican nomination. Most of the candidates were there. And on the morning of that debate, he told us on these airwaves with me, Michael Patrick Shiels, he's perfectly fine and comfortable debating, doesn't need notes or anything like that. And he went into Saginaw, and from what we understand, was very consistent, shall we say, in his messaging, and then won the straw poll that night. He is on our AT&T line right now, the candidate for the Republican nomination for governor, the business guru, Perry Johnson. Congratulations on what sounds like a big night and an effective night, sir.
It was a fun night. Enjoyed it. So it was nice to be with the other candidates.
Was it? Really? How were they?
Yes.
How were they off mic with you? Did you talk much?
Well, I would say that we probably didn't get along all that well in the beginning, but at the end, things seemed to be pretty good. I think everybody really appreciated the message because I think most people in Michigan would like to keep their money. They're tired of the government wasting their money, and I don't think anybody in that audience could deny the fact that we should get rid of that income tax. I also talked about how we have to reform the property tax, and I think when you really take a look at the money that's wasted, we can put it in perspective. Let's pay attention to what really happened over the period of the last, let's say, 7 plus years. When Gretchen took office, we had a budget of $49 billion. That was our budget for the year. So in other words, that previous year, the total spend for the year was $49 billion. Now, the new budget, $88 billion. Now, when you keep in perspective, if we had gone up at the rate of inflation, even factoring in all the inflation for 2017, which was somewhat high, but not that high, the total inflation for that entire period would put our budget at about $64.5 billion. So we literally are in a position where we have increased our budget by $24 billion, and we only collect about $13.3 billion in income tax. That is how crazy our spend has been. And yet we've accomplished nothing with it. We added an extra $1 billion per year to try to improve the quality of our education for our younger people in reading and writing. And what has happened? We went downhill. Why did we go downhill? Part of it has to do with the entire approach that we use. We decided we're not going to teach phonics in general anymore. We decided that we're going to have this new approach. And now we went from, 28th in the nation in reading down to 44th. Do you understand that at one time Michigan was number 3 in the country in our SAT scores, and now we're near the bottom, straight from the bottom? It has been an absolute disaster. What about fixing the roads? Are your roads any better now? Didn't she run on fix the damn roads? And all that money that we spent, our roads aren't any better. We end up throwing money away at the stupidest of things. We threw $11 billion away in 1 year alone just because we decided to overpay unemployment and Medicaid. We spent almost $1 billion in 1 year because we tried to improve the speed of the Amtrak train by 10 miles an hour. So when you start talking about this craziness, we don't even know what's going on in terms of the fraud in this state. We looked at what happened in Minnesota. We could be worse. We don't know because we haven't had a chance to audit. We wanted to look at what was going on. We had 77 names that were listed in Dearborn because these people were theoretically getting money. They were getting money, but they were theoretically transporting kids and daycare centers. So we wanted to ask about these 77. So we have them on the website. We look at them. We want to ask about them. And the very next day, all 77 are gone. Now, that doesn't mean that there is necessarily corruption, but it is kind of strange that all 77 were no longer on the website. So what I've done my entire life is bring quality and efficiency to companies. That's all I do. I've been doing this for nearly 40 years. And I think it's time that we take that skill set and we now use that with our government so people can keep their money. That way we can eliminate the income tax, bring greater quality to Michigan. Nobody can dispute the fact that we, at one time, were one of the hottest states in the world. We had people flocking here from all over the world, and we can have that again. What we need to do is to make it an attractive place to live. We have roughly 550,000 students within a 50-mile radius of Metro Detroit. We lose 40% of those students within the first 5 years. Let's give them a reason to stay here. Let's give people a reason to come to Michigan. And let's make it attractive for business and attractive for people. And I don't think anybody in that audience could have denied that. That's why we won the straw poll by 46%. I'm the perfect guy for the skill set because I'm the only guy that really has the skill set to be able to bring greater quality to Michigan, a greater quality of life, get more out of our money, and give the money back to the people so they can keep their money and live their dreams.
Florida, Texas, and Tennessee have eliminated the income tax, so why not Michigan, you say? Meanwhile, one of those other opponents who you debated against, Perry Johnson, Eric Nesbitt, the Michigan Senate Minority Leader, is talking about standing with Donald Trump in the largest ICE deployment in Michigan history and deporting illegal aliens. How does that message resonate versus your message?
We have the same message. We agree on this. We agree. Does it make any sense that we're going to allow the criminals to stay in this state? You know, we, in our area, we're talking about where I live, Bloomfield Hills, Birmingham, whatever, they actually had a whole group that was on a regular basis robbing homes. Now, these people were criminals. This group had actually come in from South America, and they were systematically developing a team that would go in and rob the homes. Now, what are we going to do? Just let them continue? What about all the people that came into this country and organized drug trafficking rooms? So now they have this brilliant team that gets out there trafficking drugs with fentanyl, which, of course, exposes our kids. And let's face it, also, you have so many kids that are affected by fentanyl. I doubt that there's a single person here that doesn't know of somebody who has been seriously injured or died because of the misuse of drugs. It's a scary thing. And we just allow this to go on. And then when you read about the idea that it's okay, we're going to actually encourage illegals to come here. This is the nuttiest thing I've ever seen. Think about this. You have illegals coming to Michigan, and they're encouraging them to come to Michigan. We supplement their housing. We give them free education, free medical care, and we give more to them than we give to the people that are living in this state that are residents of the state. I mean, what could be stupider?
Perry Johnson is the guru, and he speaks very plainly, as you can hear right there. Thank you for the valuable time, and we look forward to your next debate and maybe the next straw poll. And then, of course, the big one is the primary. He wants to be the Republican nominee for governor. The guru.